Our next presenter will be Jim Cambon from Hudson Resources Incorporated. Jim has over 30 years of experience in exploration and project development in the Arctic. He's been working with Hudson for the past 15 years in various roles on the company's diamond, rare earth, and anorthosite projects. Jim is the president of Hudson Resources and Hudson Greenland, which owns and operates the White Mountain anorthosite mine. Jim, welcome. Yes, there is. That's the pointer, and that's how you switch slides, go ahead and back.
Great, thanks very much. I appreciate the invitation from the Greenland government, and I think for people that are looking at Greenland as a place to come and invest, I think, from our experience, and, I've worked in 30 countries, some hospitable, some not so hospitable over the years, and Greenland has been, truly a good place and a transparent place to do business, so I would encourage people to come. And the interesting thing is it's not just hyperbole that the minister is saying about the government listening. The government is actually listening to stakeholders in this case and the mining companies, and it's really important for us to work together. We've had excellent dialogue, and I'm very encouraged about the future and Greenland certainly stepping up as a place to invest in the world. So, because there's, capital for mining can go anywhere in the world right now, and there's a lot of choices, but Greenland is a good place to do business from our perspective. Just a quick overview. This is the White Mountain or Qaqortorsuaq mine. The international airport is right there. We get internet beam directly from the airport. So logistically, everyone talks about Greenland being very remote, but in this case, it's an excellent place. For our mine, the material comes from the pit, gets crushed here, goes into the process plant, and then it goes into our warehouse here, which stores about 30,000 tons of material, and then we have our barge, which is our floating dock, where ships come in to take material out. Our forward-looking statements, if you can look at that, because some things I'm going to tell you may or may not be correct in the future. The mine itself and the material is very unique, and it's the reason the moon is white. It's this aluminum calcium silicate material, and we're providing a lot of material to NASA right now for their testing for their moon missions in 2024. The material is really a calcium aluminum silicate, and it's as a feldspar, it's unique because it's got doesn't have as much sodium, it's got more calcium, and potassium. So it's quite interesting for us. The mine is permitted for the next 50 years. The resource really could go for several hundred years. The ore body is about 8 kilometers long, so it's a massive, homogeneous, unique ore body, which is unusual, but it's very important in the industrial mineral space to have a homogeneous, continuous product you can deliver to your customers. The processing is very simple. We don't use chemicals, we don't use water, we just crush, separate and screen and take out some iron with some magnets. Importantly for Hudson too is we have our impact benefit agreements, and we work closely with the Qaqortorsuaq community. We do about 500,000 kroner a year in impact benefit agreements, and then we work closely with the communities on the disbursement of those funds to go to those that are most needed. The project we started commissioning, we had it built in 2018, we commissioned in 2019. I had a few growing pains, as you do with many startups, but things have generally gone well. We ran the project through to October, and then we had sufficient product available, so we shut it down to go into sort of a care and maintenance phase while we install some equipment, which I'll talk to you about. And we did ship out 14,000 tons of pure calcium feldspar for our customers in September last year. Again, logistically, it's important that we've got deep water, tide water. We can bring any size ship in here. We've got 26 meters of draft, which is more than enough. Most ports are 10 or 11 or 12 meters. That's the Happy Dragon vessel on the left that was loaded with the 14,000 tons of calcium feldspar and then went off. And then this is Royal Arctic is constantly delivering equipment and material to us. And in fact, they just had a ship there 2 weeks ago. We had about 10 or 15 centimeters of ice, but they came in with a 1A ice class vessel and had no issues at all in dealing with the ice. And that, that's important, shipping-wise in Greenland, and you'll hear more about it from one of the other speakers, but, there's lots of 1A ice-class vessels available to come into these, deep water fjords, and, with the right ice pilot, which you get out of Nuuk, shipping is not an issue. In fact, location-wise, if you look at it, from where we're sitting, we're really about the same distance to Western Europe as we are to the Southeast US, South Carolina, and the Gulf, and we're getting quotes of about $25 to $30 a ton for shipping our material, which is quite efficient if you're doing sort of 20 to 25,000 ton shiploads in handy size vessels. So, we're quite happy with the logistics. The mine itself is very simple. It's really just a quarry. We drill and blast We haul the material down in haul trucks and crush it. And again, don't use any water or chemicals or anything. It's just a dry process, which is important because our customers need dry material as part of their spec because they're throwing it into furnaces and melting it, so you don't want that moisture. And then we have about 30,000 tons of storage on site. That's not snow on the bottom right. That's actually the anorthosite that's been drilled. And as it comes out, it's extremely white. And the key thing, and I won't go into the revenue streams too much, is but we've got multiple revenue streams, all of them green. I mean, when we give material to the e-glass companies, they reduce their CO2 footprint, which is important, but they also produce a better, stronger fiberglass. So we're working with a number of big e-glass companies globally who will be switching to our material going forward from using normal kaolin. The ability to produce CO2-free cement is very important and something we're working on. It's taking a bit longer because we're focused on the mine right now, but CO2-free cement is certainly something that the world needs and we can produce. And then the paints and coatings side is the sort of higher value end of the market for us, where we take our material out of Greenland, we micronize it, and it goes into paints and coatings. It makes the paints and coatings last a lot longer because of the aluminum and silicon, and it really strengthens paints and coatings. So we're quite keen about that. And then just the ability to produce alumina without all the waste, because right now when you use bauxite, you produce 2 to 4 tons of these red mud wastes that never go away, and just an ability to produce waste-free alumina here, which is, again, one of these things that is coming. It's just a matter of timing. 2019 was really an exceptional year for us. It was challenging, but exciting. I mean, it's not very often new mines get built in the Arctic, and we did this one safely, and we did it on time, which is important. And we managed to staff up with a very good group of Greenlandic and Danish and Canadian employees. And Greenlandic workers are excellent when you can find them, but the market is certainly stretched right now, and it is challenging to find good workers. But we've had some leave to go work on the airports because they've started up, but we're seeing workers come back as well because we do provide a good work environment. So we'll see. And that's the Happy Dragon there being loaded with our material, and that's our warehouse. There's about 20,000 tons sitting there. So we did ship 14,000 tons, and we're in continual discussions with a number of people on offtakes, and there are well over 20 companies right now testing our material with excellent results. So the contracts are coming. It's just a matter of timing, and we're very, very optimistic on that front. The challenges, we had a few, as any startup would. The secondary high-pressure grinding roll, which is this one, and every family's got a problem child, and this is our problem child. We're working on getting this fixed, and Weir, who's our vendor out of the Netherlands, have been on top of this with us. So just to get capacity in the plant up, we need this crusher to be doing a bit better performance. So it's an ongoing task with us. We did last year decide that a rotary drum dryer ahead of the project was important. The engineers thought with sort of 4 stages of crushing, we create enough friction, heat the material up, and it wouldn't be a problem. But in the real cold winter, minus 25, minus 30, when we crush the material, the little fine particles want to stick together, and then we put it over our magnetic separators to pull the iron out. The iron doesn't come out. So we've elected to put the rotary drum dryer in, and that's now on site. We've just finished pouring concrete, and we'll be installing that rotary drum dryer in the next month or two, and as soon as that's back up and running, we'll fire up the plant again. We had the bulk ship, the Happy Dragon, that came in. Even though it was 20 degrees and sunny on our site, the ship was dropping off equipment in Canada first, in Nunavut, and it got stuck in ice for several weeks. Then when we went to unload it in Charleston, the guys in Charleston decided it was too dusty of a material, even though contractually they knew exactly what was coming. And then we had a hurricane bearing down, so we ended up having to move from Charleston to Savannah, and that cost us some money, but we'll make some claims there and move forward with that. Path forward, again, for us, the main thing is we've got some debt, as people will know, and we want to bring in strategic partners, and so we've got a process right now to look at some groups that will come in, work with us, that will bring expertise in shipping or mining, and also help us address the debt, because that's always an issue for startups. And then as I said, we'll get back into production as soon as the dryer's running, and then our goal is to get into the paints and coatings business as well as soon as possible. And I just want to also mention, aside from White Mountain, which we'll be working on for the next couple hundred years, we do have the Soffertalk rare earth and niobium prospect, which is extremely exciting for us, and it's more of a timing issue on how you advance those, but we've just renewed that license. And the carbonatite itself is one of the biggest carbonatites in the world. It's about a 30-kilometer strike length. It's got excellent rare earth potential. We've already defined a resource there, but it's also got some of the highest grade niobium in the world. So with this one, it's really a neodymium and praseodymium focused deposit, which is important because those are the permanent magnet materials. Those are the ones that the market needs. And it's going to be important for, governments around the world to have secure supplies of these, because right now they're all coming out of China effectively. And so we have some more work to go on that, but we are in discussions with a number of parties. And then on the last slide here, just the niobium. Most niobium occurrences in the world are sort of 0.5 to 0.8% Nb2O5. We've had numbers up here up to 40% Nb2O5. It's an exceptionally high-grade pyrochlore, and we'll want to focus on that in the second half of this year because it's got tremendous upside. It's a small deposit, but grade is king, and I think this one will prove to be very, very exciting for us and the industry. So we'll continue to work on that. And that is really the end of my speed dating talk here. So we have a booth, and I'm happy to talk to people about anything that they would like to talk to us about that is in the public domain. And yeah, again, for us, Greenland's been a great place to do business, and we continue to plan on being there for a long time. So thanks.